we usually find a way to try to make it interesting. I thought our first 25 or 28 minutes were really, really good, really where they needed to be. And I don't know, we were up 27 or 29 or something like that, which I never imagined, honestly, that we would, without Chris Jones, be in that position in the game. So I was very, very pleased with that. I thought for the most part the guys that came in off the bench did a real solid job. I thought Justice was really solid for us. He did exactly what we needed him to do, and that was take care of the ball and get it to the right people. Sheldon was clearly the best that he's been all season long, and I was very happy for him with that. So, you know, I can focus on what got us the 29-point lead, or I can focus on the fact that we probably gave up 20 foul shots in the last 6 minutes, and so we'll take the positives, and I would have taken the 6-point victory at the start of the night, being without Chris Jones. I can promise you that. So I thought we did some good things. Disappointing the last 10 or 12 minutes, but happy that that we were able to get a win.
You know, when you guys got up there 29 points in the second half, Kevin, with about 15 minutes left, I mean, do you think that just with the frequency that it's happened with your team this year, that sort of, you know, that sort of thing sort of resting in the back of their mind, that they know that they've been here before and that they've seen these leads kind of gradually give away?
Not really. I think that I think that it's human nature to lose focus. I think that we ask. I'm asking 18 to 22-year-old guys to do things that even guys much older than them have a difficult time doing. It's hard sometimes to play with a big lead. Again, we've had a bunch of big leads, so that means that we're capable of doing some really good things. And this is a team that is really good on offense. I mean, they're a very good offensive team, and we talked about it and talked about it and talked about it, and I was very uneasy about the game, very uneasy about being without Chris, who's one of our better perimeter defenders, but I don't think that it was like, oh, here we go again. I just think that it's hard to play with a big lead, and we have some guys that tend to get a little casual and lose focus anyway. So when you combine those two things, and we're playing a good offensive team. And I think it's also human nature that when a team's behind by a big margin, they stick their head down and start driving, and it just seems to me like a lot of fouls get called in. And one of my coaching buddies and I have talked about that for years, about how teams behind big stick your head down, drive it, and the game takes forever because there's a million foul shots taken. And so I'm not saying we didn't foul, because we certainly did, and we, you know, I mean, our defensive effort in the second half was disappointing, especially probably most of the second half, but especially the last 10 or 15 minutes. But I'm not gonna focus on that, because we won't have to worry about that anymore. If we don't stay locked in for 40 minutes now, then we all know what awaits us. They know too.
Kevin, what do you see different from Sheldon?
He decided to get points in ways other than just jump shots. He posted up. He ran the floor. He really offensive rebounded. That's probably the thing that he did. You know, he was the best rebounder on the court tonight by a long shot, I thought, and got himself some extra baskets there, and so you know, made his foul shots. He was just really good. He was just really good, efficient, energetic, and as I told him after the game, that's exactly what we need from him. That's exactly what we need. We need his energy. We need his athleticism. You know, he got out on the break. He drove the ball a couple times. I mean, he just kind of did all the things that he's good at doing. And and he didn't live through his jump shot, and he just found it in other ways, and he made some jump shots. So that's kind of what happens if you focus on other things, your jump shot usually starts going in.
What do you feel like you learned about your team, Kevin, in these 13 non-conference games?
We're capable of getting big leads, and we're capable of losing them. We don't tend to lose them and lose games, but we tend to let them creep back in and get close to us and make the coach nervous. But we keep the fans engaged. So maybe that's maybe our concession sales go up because the fans stay a little bit longer at the games. I'm not sure, but we're capable of playing really well in stretches, and we're still fighting to become a more consistent team for 40 minutes.
Yeah, so that's in the from such a senior-dominated team. Obviously, Chris was out tonight, so I guess it makes it 3 seniors. But I mean, are those qualities you've talked about? I mean, that sort of loose and casual play, being up big, and I mean, are those things that you're surprised to see from a team with that kind of experience?
I'm not going to say that I'm surprised to see them. I think that it just is. It is what it is, and you know. We're just trying to do the best we can to help these guys maximize their strengths and minimize their weaknesses, and that's kind of what our jobs are as coaches, is to put these guys in the best position we can. And again, I've talked about this. Our bench isn't such yet that although I used it a little bit more liberally tonight, our bench isn't such that we can take a guy who's not giving us the kind of quality defensive effort that we need and put him on the bench for 8 or 10 minutes, because our bench isn't that long. So it's a pride thing. It's a thing of what's in them, but we've gotten better. We've made progress. They're not. I want things to be perfect, and that's dumb, because they're not ever going to be. So I'm the one that's wrong, really, just because I want things to be just so. But sometimes we need to worry more about being great than we worry about being different. We have a guy or two that sort of prides themselves on being different, and they want to do like little dumb things to be different. And it seems to me that we'd be better off if we focused on being great than focusing on being different.
Coach, Marshall, you mentioned it, they have a prolific offense. John Elmore, big part of that. Coming into the game, was the game plan to sort of neutralize him?
No, not really. We did a good job on him. He just was kind of the key guy that just dropped his head and just started, driving in there and getting fouled. Other than keeping him off the foul line, we did an excellent job. When you look down and they're 10 for 30 from three, they're shooting almost 40% from three. We did a good job on the 3-point line, believe it or not. We just didn't do a good job on the foul line. We didn't do a good job guarding the ball. We didn't do a good job of keeping off the foul line. And Burks came in and hurt us. He was a problem. He hurt us. We could see his talent in the Cincinnati game on the film. He's going to be a real good player for them. But he was the one that really kind of, from the perimeter guys, that really hurt us the most, I thought.
Kevin, you mentioned using the bench differently. Roselle got a little bit of minutes early. I mean, it seemed in place of Mike. Is he going to have a role when you get to conference play, do you think?
I think it depends on the team we're playing. Actually, tonight was a tough game for Rowe, really, in a lot of ways, because their bigs are away from the ball, or away from the goal, handling the ball, flipping, dribble flips, dribble handoffs, ball screens, and that's not exactly where Rowe would be his most comfortable. But we got a lead, and I probably screwed Ryan Luther up because I got mad at Mike for a defensive play in the first half, and first thing I thought of was to get somebody in for him. The first person I saw was Rowe, so I yelled Rowe, and it should have been Ryan Luther, but nevertheless, Rowe did all right. He did okay. rebounded again, and he's a good rebounder. So it's just going to depend on the game. I can't swear that there's going to be if they've got a big that runs around and shoots threes, then it's probably not a good game for Rowe. If they got guys that are more low block guys, and then that's probably more suited to what he is.
Are you expecting Chris back for the Notre Dame game Saturday?
I'm sure hopeful. I hope so. I mean, so he hasn't played in a week, so we'll see. Hopefully he'll be better by Saturday.